Welcome, everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, all you chumps. We have a new word out there. Joe Biden called us chumps. Welcome, all you deplorables. Welcome, all you rock dwellers, you sycophants, you stinkos, you hateful people who celebrate the president and honor them and honor America. You're always welcome here, and this is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. And joining me as my co-host is the patriot from the battle-born state, the silver state of Nevada. Don't say Nevada because it's Nevada, and that's Sharron Angle. Sharron, welcome back to Conservative Commandos.
Thanks so much, Rick. It's great to be here again. And of course, I'm one of those Republicans that waits till election day to vote. And one of the reasons I do that is because of all the October surprises. You know, you never can tell how things are going to change in that last 2 weeks, that last week. And, you know, just last night we got a real bell ringer, I guess. You know, here's a guy that is a former Hunter Biden business partner, and he went public about this scam. You know, we've all kind of known it was a scam. You kind of want to know why they're hiding his laptop away, and of course you know exactly why, because they don't want this scandal to come up right here in the last few days of the election. But this guy, I mean, they hit his hot button. He said, "You call me a traitor, and you know, that's the end of our friendship." And he even called him and said, "You know, I want that Adam Schiff." I think it's interesting who's in the mix here. He said, "I wanted Adam Schiff to back off and say, you know, that what he said about me on the television was wrong." And he also was just, I think, really surprised that Joe Biden would throw him under the bus. But no matter, he said, you know, I'm not going to take this lying down. And when they didn't respond, he went public with it. Now, I don't know how much this is going to help because, of course, only the conservatives are really listening right at this point to what's going on. But maybe some of those independent voters are more tuned up than we think and are watching things like Fox. Maybe they're paying attention to these October surprises, but for whatever reason, he's out, and now I guess they do damage control on that side, or don't talk about it. I don't know. That's their I think
thing. It's one of the reasons why Joe Biden has been in his basement all this time. Either that or Sharron, you know, last weekend, he did a thing, or it was the last weekend, right before the debate. He didn't do anything for 5 days prior to the debate. I wonder if he had the Wuhan flu, and that's why they put a lid on things. I don't know, Sharron. But over 70 million people have already voted, Sharron Angle. I'm one of them. You know, I got my ballot in. I'll tell you why. Because here in the People's Communistic Society of New Jersey, we're not going to have our polling places open. Everybody must do a mail-in ballot. So I did it yesterday to make sure it does get in and get counted on time. But what's this? You know, some people that have already mailed in their ballot, Sharron, want to redo.
That's right. It's really amazing. President Trump on Tuesday urged Americans who have already cast their ballot to change their vote after the term began trending on Google. So strong trending Google since immediately after the second debate is, "Can I change my vote?" This refers changing it to Trump, of course, from Biden. And the answer in most states is yes, go do it. It's really amazing to me. The Google searches for Change My Vote have the most interest in Arizona, Florida, Idaho, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania. People who searched Changed My Vote also searched for Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden related queries. So these 7 states allow voters to resubmit their ballots. While most states do not allow voters to change their early votes, there are some that do. The restrictions, with restrictions, for example, in New York, if you've submitted an absentee ballot but changed your mind, you can show up to your polling place during early voting or on election day and cast a vote, in which case the absentee ballot is set aside and not counted.
That's the way
So
it should
that's
be,
just for the
Sharon,
New
because
York guy.
a lot of this voting, a lot of this early voting actually started like 4 or 5 weeks ago, you know? And
Yeah.
a lot has just think of everything that has happened in the last 6 weeks, Sharon Engel.
Yeah, they
I
didn't
mean, it
even wait for the debates.
didn't wait for the debates. This thing about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and this Tony
Bobulinski.
Bobulinski, that all came out. News about the vaccine for the Wuhan flu is coming out. Uh, Jobs reports, economic numbers are coming out the end of this week. So much is happening. So much is happening, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, something else is happening. I want to talk about, and we're probably going to carry it on into our second segment also. The city of my birth, Philadelphia, is in flames. It is in flames. And I'm going to say some things that are maybe going to hurt some people's ears. But let me tell you something about political correctness, Sharon Angle. Political correctness is the inability to speak the truth about the obvious. The inability to speak the truth about the obvious. And I want to talk about the rioting in Philadelphia following the police shooting of this man. Well, first of all, this guy, police have been called to that house over 30 times, Sharon Angle. This guy has been a problem. This guy has been a criminal. He went at the police with a knife. So, what are the police supposed to do? Stand there until they're stabbed? I believe the police acted correctly. Okay. Of course, the family's saying, well, they didn't call for the police. They called for an ambulance, whatever. We'll find out, just like supposedly Michael Brown had his hands up. We found out that wasn't true. It seems like every time there's a police involved shooting, there's a story out there, how this person was a pillar of society. Not so much. The truth will come out on this. So now they're burning and rioting in the streets of Philadelphia. 1,000 people were out for a second night in a row, Sharon Angle, rioting. And I would like to know what the Walmart, what the Shoe Locker, what the Dollar General had to do with the shooting of this man. Okay? Be it the shooting right, be it the shooting wrong, how does rioting, looting, and violence serve any purpose? And Sharon, I just believe this is an opportunity that a lot of people saw to do their Christmas shopping early. Sharon, this activity is non-civilized. It's animalistic. Humans shouldn't hurt other humans who had nothing to do with this shooting. People of Philadelphia, people anywhere who are upset because of anything, don't take it out on your neighbors. Your grievance is with your governor, your mayor, because your governor and your mayor, they're the ones that are supposed to protect you. Your mayors hire your chiefs of police, okay, your police commissioners. You have a problem, go to Mayor Kenny's house. Address your problem with the mayor of Philadelphia, not the owner of the local store that sells hair products. That was also looted, Sharon. This is animalistic, Sharon Angle. I'm sorry to say that. Humans do not do this to their fellow friend, their fellow neighbors. They do not take advantage of an opportunity, Sharron Angle. I mean, how does stealing a washer or a dryer make you feel better because this man was shot in West Philadelphia? Sharron Angle, you know, Mary and I live close to Philadelphia. We love to go into Philly. We love to walk the streets. We love to go into the restaurants. It's a great, great city. And the fact that you've got people destroying it absolutely disgusts me. Sharron, these people need to be arrested. They need to go before a judge and a jury. They need to spend the next 10 to 15 years in jail. The problem is, in Philadelphia, you got this mayor, Jim Kenney. You've also got the district attorney, who is likely to release these people on their own reconnaissance because, Sharron Angle, this district attorney was helped greatly and financed by George Soros. Need I say more? Let's go to break, Sharron Angle. You are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network. Today's show, like all our shows, is being brought to you by the First Amendment, protected by the Second. Another one of the rights that the left wants to take away from us. Sharron and I will be right back right after this break.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The secret war is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And hey, you know what? We'd love to hear from you. So if you'd like to contact us, maybe you'd like to make a recommendation of a guest, maybe you'd like to share a piece of information with us, maybe you'd want to be a guest on our show, it's easy to do. Send us an email at auntv@yahoo.com, auntv@yahoo.com. Even if we've made a mistake in Sharron, there's a mistake on our titling. And I heard from Gina today, and she says, you spelt the word opportunity wrong on your title. And thank you, Gina, for that. And so I want to give a shout out to Gina and her husband, Rob. They live in San Francisco. They watch our network and they watch our shows. And I wanted to give a shout out to Rob and Gina. But always love to hear from you. So that address, that email address, again, is auntv@yahoo.com. I read every email. I read every email that we get in because not only do I host Conservative Commandos, but I'm also president of AUNTV. So I read every email. Love to hear from you. So Sharron, a couple other things. Joe Biden, I know you and Nasser had a guest on yesterday about energy. Joe Biden is attempting to soften his pledged attacks on the oil industry, but even the liberal media outlets are saying it like it is. A new Washington Post article, this is the Washington Post, the left, very far-leaning Washington Post, an article entitled, Biden's Gaffe is the Truth. Oil is history confirms that Joe Biden's agenda to destroy fossil fuels will come to fruition if he is elected. Sharron, this is from the Washington Post. And you don't get a bigger liberal voice than that. You know, people of Pennsylvania, people of Oklahoma, Ohio, people of Texas, people in any oil-producing state, Louisiana, need to know what came out of Joe Biden's mouth, probably by accident, but he's so old and feeble, he doesn't know what he was saying a lot of times, was the truth, Sharron Engel. He wants to end fossil fuels.
Of course he does. But, you know, he really is. Those folks that think that's something that should be done really don't live where the heartland folks live. And that's, you know, I don't have an electric car, Rick Trader. And in fact, I couldn't afford to have an electric car because there's not an electric place that I can plug my car in any place in Nevada between here and Las Vegas. You know, it's a long way. That's a long drive. And I gotta stop and fuel up. And, you know, the fuel that's going to be affordable and also available to me is going to be at a gasoline station. Oh, my goodness. How about those truckers out there and their diesel rigs? I don't see them going to electric very soon either. Those big rigs, you know, they're kind of a staple on our highways. And you don't just say, okay, from now on, truckers, no more gasoline for you. How about the trains? I think the trains run on fossil fuels too, you know, and so now we're going to shut down all commerce because you don't want us to have gasoline. I mean, you know, it's one thing to say electrical and you're going to go to non-fossil fuels for electrical, although that's not even economically sound either, nor is it practically sound. You know, we have just kind of bowed to the childish antics of the left and these climate changers. Last week we interviewed a fellow, what was it, Climate Culture 2 or climate chaos too. Anyway, we know what's going on here, and it's infantile, to say the least, when you start saying that you're going to do it this
Climate
way.
hustle too.
Climate hustle. It is a hustle, isn't it? I mean, it's a true scam. And so it's the same scam. And I actually thought you were gonna spank these fellows a little bit for calling what's happening in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia a protest.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
nothing but a criminal riot.
It's criminal. It's animalistic. It's
no even kindred spirit to a protest.
No.
Yeah, like you were telling me off the air, they drove up in their
culture.
fancy vehicles using gasoline, by the way, drove up in their fancy vehicles and grabbed televisions out of stores. So I'm saying that the left is they're not genuine. They're not genuine about their ideologies. They drive around in their fancy cars and their big jets, and they actually just want the rest of us to be the proletariat. The more I live in this COVID shutdown society, the more I see the thing that we feared the most when I was growing up, and that was communism.
Well, Sharron, who benefits? Who benefits by our oil and gas industry being shut down? I'll tell you who. Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, any Venezuela is going to benefit from it, Sharron Angle. Everybody who produces oil and gas in the world is going to benefit. We are going to pay the price for it. All right?
Well,
and when you talk about electric vehicles, Sharron Angle, unless you've got an extension cord that's about 100 miles long, those damn electric vehicles run on batteries, lithium batteries. You know where that lithium comes from? They dig it out of the ground, which produces these massive pits, Sharron Angle, these massive pits in Africa. So we're going to destroy Africa, and what's going to happen? There's only so much lithium in the world, Sharron. The price is going to skyrocket, okay?
Well,
our people are going to get poorer. The warlords in Africa are going to get richer. So what we're going to be dealing with, Sharron, is just like we're dealing with the warlords in OPEC. We're going to be dealing with the warlords that control the lithium reserves. We don't have lithium in this country, Sharron Angle. We don't have lithium. So Russia, they're not going to shut down their oil industry. OPEC is not going to shut down their oil industry. Iran, no, they're not going to shut down. They're going to benefit. We're going to lose. Does this make sense, Joe Biden? How about you, Kamala Harris? Does this make sense?
Of course, it doesn't have anything to do with making sense. But we're going to have some great guests on. We're going to be talking to them after.
We don't even have time. We don't even have time to tell our audience who our guests are. They're going to have to come back. I forgot that little ditty. Well, let me. Sorry about that. Let me just say you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. One of our guests is Mike Netter. He's a founding member of the RecallGavin2020.com coalition, talking about the recall of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Don't go away. Sharron and I will be back with her first guest. We'll tell you who our other two guests are as we get into the show, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, But where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, we want to welcome you back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. And for a rebroadcast of our show, please check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. Please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And Sharron, we do have our first guest with us. He's a newbie. Sharron. And please, as you do with all our guests, make them feel welcome.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce Mike Netter, who's a founding member of the Recall Gavin 2020.com coalition. Mike is a veteran of distribution, sales, and marketing. He has served in a senior executive role at Corporate Express and Staples, both multinational office products firms. He is now applying his business expertise to the state politics to create a powerful team of volunteers and allied organizations to further the cause of conservatism in the state of California. Using the power of social media, Mike is helping to spearhead the recall effort for Gavin Newsom. Mike, welcome back. Welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Milton must make me sound intelligent, but I do live in California, so let's hold that thought.
It's a beautiful state right next door to mine, and I watch it all the time wondering if we're ever going to get the state of Reagan back. I know there are conservatives that live there and are fighting very hard to regain the Republic of California. And I know that you have a governor who seems to be at odds with that goal. Gavin Newsom. So let's talk a little bit about this guy. You know, we have the AUN TV network in Northern California, so hopefully we're going to reach some Californians today and say, a lot, you know, you need to sign this petition. You need to help figure out what's going on in your government and for the relief of the rest of the country, right? It's not just California that's involved.
Absolutely. And I want to state, and by the way, I'll plug this a few times, if you will, recallgavin2020.com, because this is a live petition. This isn't a wish list. This isn't a drill, but it's actual petition to remove Gavin from office. And it's interesting when you talk about Northern California, because Gavin's roots are in Northern California, and most of the roots of the liberals, which have, I'm going to say, polluted the state, really are a small group in Northern California. And I have an old saying, which most of my sayings are old at this point, is things are either inept or evil. It's really hard to tell the difference, but the net effect is the same. And the reality behind Gavin Newsom is he's actually both. He's inept and he's evil. And I'm not going to go into a long history of Gavin Newsom here today, but his party, and you know who they are, has done a real good job of burying the persona behind this man. And just as people ask me all the time, well, can you give us 3 reasons or give us reasons why Gavin needs to be recalled? And unless you're going to give me a 24-hour marathon on your network, it's not possible to cover them all. He has done something that I literally thought could not be done in the history of politics in the United States, and that he has literally ticked off every single spectrum, including the liberals. There's a group at our rallies called Democrats Against Newsom. And the first time I saw the sign go, did you misspell it? They go, no, we don't like him either. Walt Disney is actually suing him. Not Walt himself, of course, but Disney itself is actually suing Newsom because he suppressed every portion of the economy. He suppressed every right that we have. And as you know, and we'll get to it at the end of this segment, what he's done for Thanksgiving, it's absolutely appalling. The most important thing to understand about California is I don't believe, being a resident of the state, and I know you live next door, it's quite as liberal as everybody thinks. People say, well, where did all the conservatives go? They must have all moved to Nevada. But I don't believe that Nevada has a population that large, so the math doesn't add up. What simply happened in California that we're rejuvenating with our recallgavin2020.com, like I got that plug-in, the way we're rejuvenating that is simply saying, people wake up. There are 5 million Republicans in California, which makes it the largest block of Republicans in the country. There are indeed 42% Democrats, but more importantly, because we're not that bright out here, don't let me fool you, we put in a jungle primary system that basically drove 6 million people to be no party preference. These are the people not participating in the process. These are the people that we want to get out and make aware that we have to stop Gavin Newsom. And even though he has a supermajority in the state assembly and state senate, he still does stuff that they're not aware of. It's actually unbelievable. So,
well,
who's Gavin Newsom? Not too bright. Not too sure. I'm sorry.
Well, he has some connections to Nancy Pelosi too, which I think most of us think she has, some real problems with reality. Talk about those connections and how did he get to be governor in the first place?
Well, it's interesting. The connections to Pelosi, which are well publicized, she's his nephew or by marriage. More important. Wow. You know that, right?
No, I didn't, but I just found out that, and see, I say this all the time, Mike. I say this to Sharron and my other co-host. I love doing the show because I learn so much from my guests, and I did not know that they were kin.
Well, they were, but more importantly, what a lot of people don't know, and Rick, I appreciate you educating someone is basically with as broad an audience as you, and I mean that because it's important to understand the deep roots behind the liberalism in California. Now, you may not know it, but Gavin Newsom's dad, Judge Newsom, was a really good friend of a guy named Gordon Getty, who's still around. Gordon Getty was really buddies with a guy named Pat Brown, who served 4 terms as governor of California. Most recently, you know his son, formerly known as Doonesbury, more right, more popularly known as Governor Jerry Brown. Okay, so what we have in California is literally almost 40 years of royalty trying to impress their power on top of us. So Gordon Getty financed, okay, both Pat Brown and there was a kid, Judge Newsom's son, named Gavin. Gavin was made a commissioner in the city of San Francisco, given some financing to open a winery. Actually got into trouble as a commissioner. You can look it up. Never quite got charged by the current mayor, who happens to be the missing in action senator of California, Dianne Feinstein. We've been looking for her. We're sure she's still alive, but we haven't seen her in quite a long time. So I was very actually happy to see her at the Senate confirmation hearings because we thought maybe she was a hologram. Story for another day. This whole group moved to be in charge of California and is basically a group of about 10 people, of which Kamala Harris, as they say, came from, has literally impressed upon the state their will, which is socialism.
Now, you talked about this is a Northern California movement. Now, we're talking about, when I look at Northern California, I look at places like Tule Lake, Wairika, Eureka, really north, Redding. But we're talking about San Francisco and Berkeley and those kinds of places, aren't we? Or maybe I'm off because I just, I saw the Haight-Ashbury stuff in the 60s, and it seems like that's where it all kind of started from, as these hippies now have grown to be old and powerful in academia and in entertainment. And all of a sudden, we're dealing with our culture has come back to bite us, right? When we were young, we were dumb, and now it's come back to bite us.
Well, yeah, when I say Northern California, first off, the recall Gavin 2020, and I want to get into that, the recall is statewide. It actually comes from both Northern and Southern California forever. The group I'm talking about actually came from Northern California. That's what I'm referring to, okay? And they come from the wine country where Gordon Getty, just back to the history of all this. And it's important, I don't want to spend the whole segment talking about this, but it's real important to understand where the roots of things come from. And the roots of California, why we're striking back as a people today, is because a group of small people, which we call royalty in other countries, is trying to control the way that we think, and are actually the rich pretending they're defending the poor. Does this sound familiar in history? Anytime, historically, a group of people, be it right or left, with all apologies to the host, get too much power for too long, can you say Rome? It ends badly. And that's what we have in California.
And that's what we have in California, and they're exporting it to the rest of the nation. So it's good for us to review a bit of history in order to show that the rest of the country is not immune to this. They have their own groups of royalty that would like to come into power and are taking some of the leaves right out of the California book. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM FM 24/7. You can also see us on the AUN TV network in San Francisco, San Rafael, Marin, North Bay, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Santa Rosa, Redding, Sacramento, Chico, and Fort Bragg, Napa Valley, and soon coming to Reno, Lake Tahoe, and Carson City. I'm Sharron Engel here with my co-host Rick Trader, and we've been talking with Mike Netter, who is the founding member of the RecallGavin2020.com coalition. And we've been talking about the reasons to recall Gavin Newsom. We'll be right back to continue our conversation after these messages.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Broken AC, $4,600. Water heater, $1,500. Fridge on the fritz, $1,000. You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club for around $1 a day. If any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either repair or replace them.
HSC provides coverage of up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home.
I trust HSC.
HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry. They cover everything from ACs, stoves, fridges, pool pumps, and more. Call the number on your screen now for a free no-obligation quote from a trusted HSC specialist about a home warranty for your entire home, backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get 1 month free plus $75 off your first year of coverage. 1 month free and $75 off your first year. The Home Service Club.
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for dental visits. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for transportation to my doctor. Did you?
I didn't know some Medicare Advantage plans may pay to have my prescriptions delivered directly to my home. Did you?
These and more are important benefits some Medicare Advantage plans may give you. So if you're eligible for Medicare, call us right now because you may be eligible to enroll in a plan with amazing additional benefits. Some Medicare Advantage plans may pay for services like these: dental visits, vision coverage, hearing coverage, home delivery of drugs, even gym memberships. Some plans may include no copays for many services and zero deductibles. Don't wait to find out if you're eligible to enroll in a plan that may include some of these wonderful benefits you deserve. Call us right now. The call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation. Make this free call now to learn if you're eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits you want. Call us right now.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
And once again, we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And you know me, I love to give shout outs to our audiences on radio in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AUN television network in places like San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, Silicon Valley, wine country, all the way up to Redding. Very soon in Carson City and in Reno. And for our audiences in California, please pay attention. Our guest this segment is Mike Netter. He's the founding member of the RecallGavin2020.com coalition. Mike, thank you for holding through that break. We appreciate your time. Mike, I got to ask you this. We're talking about California. And you know, I'm thinking, you mentioned the Brown dynasty, but, you know, we had Nixon, we had Reagan, we even had a guy by the name of Arnold for a while. They were all Republicans. What has happened to California that has made it so left?
What's happened really is a lack of participation, and that's very important to note. We had referred earlier. Now, understand Garcetti in Los Angeles, for a 5-year term, he got a bonus year, where, by the way, there's 160,000 homeless people. If you ever want to go camping, it's free, okay? Got elected with a 20% turnout. Let me be really clear on that, okay? We have the voter file as a political PAC. There's 18 million Californians. 12 million only participated in the last election. So pre-election, it's very important people get out and vote. RecallGavin2020.com is an actual live petition to recall the governor of California. I want to be really clear while I've got the time here. This is not a drill. This is not a wish list. For those of you across your nation listening to the show today, this isn't something, well, I don't know what I can do. Here's what you can do. If we don't stop what has become the leftist agenda, and we're going to stop it, and I'm going to explain that in a second, with a special election not subject to the jungle primary now, I got news for you. Gavin's already reserved the URL, or the website as it's known, for president. If we don't stop it, and you can look it up because we tried to get it in front of us. Apparently he thought of that first. More importantly, if we don't stop California, which is 12% of the country's population, it's going to spill over to all the states that you mentioned.
Oh, Mike, it's happening already here in New Jersey. Governor Phil Murphy looks at and idolizes Gavin Newsom and says he wants New Jersey to be just like California. Sharron's experiencing it in her state. Washington, Oregon, I mean, it's spreading faster than the Wuhan flu, Mike. It really is. You know, and I believe there's great prospects for this recall, Mike, because you don't have to look that far back to another recall that was successful in California. Please tell us how this recall may be or different or maybe the same of the recall that pulled Governor, what was his name, Gray Davis back?
Davis. A couple things. Okay, a recall is an initiative that requires 12% of the people that voted for governor last time, all right? That means in our case, we need 1.475 million signatures by voters. That's, by the way, out of a population, or registered voters, I should say, of 18 million people. Got it?
Shouldn't be hard to do.
No, it's not hard to do. We're doing this, though, understand, with almost no money. No paid petitioners, right? Now, a couple late-breaking things on your show here. Not that late-breaking, but be aware. We have been doing this for 160 days, and we're about halfway there. More importantly to note, on November 6th, we go to court, and it's already been granted to 2 other initiatives. That's next week for those of you keeping score at home, to get an extra 90 days, which we believe we're going to get. Okay?
And tell our audience why you think you're going to get an extension.
Because 2 of them have already been granted to initiatives, because I don't know about where you live. We have this little thing they're using to suppress us called the coronavirus, which doesn't allow us to leave our house, practice our First Amendment rights, or gather to collect signatures. And that's why 2 initiatives in court, and we do have the same judge, have already asked for this. But here's what I need everybody who listens across the country to do. If you live in, and this is important, people go, where do I go to sign? What do I do? I signed online. Online doesn't count. Here's what counts. There are 2 editions of the petition. One is an 8.5 by 11. For everybody who has a forefinger out there, and I'm assuming most people listening to your network do, they could take that forefinger and push the print button on their computer. We have instructions on our website if they don't know where it is. It's usually the big one that says print on recallgavin2020.com. Print the petition out and get 4 to 5 signatures, which one page takes. Now think about this. We have 67,000 volunteers, literally. 25,000 of them active. That's how big our movement is. If 25,000 volunteers got just 67 signatures each, we'd be done. You need to print, sign, mail. Got it? If you're out of state listening to this going, what can I do to keep maybe Mike Netter from moving next to me? And trust me, they don't want that. Okay? I'm an NRA backer. They probably don't want that. Okay? The way to keep me from moving to your state is this. Donate. Okay? We need money for the court case to eventually maybe get paid petitioners. Every single one of our signatures we turn in is being verified. Not that we don't trust the Board of Registers, but assuming we didn't, we're having them pre-verified. And most importantly, if you're in California or any state, participate. So, for Recall Gavin 2020, go ahead.
Mike.
Getting too excited.
We're kind of getting to the end of our time, and I want to be sure I get this. I went on your website, terrific website, by the way. Recall Gavin 2020. I found pages and pages and pages of reasons that you guys have on your website to recall Gavin, but there's a new one out there. There's a new reason that's not, I didn't see it on your website. Apparently, Gavin wants to do what to Thanksgiving?
Okay, now let's be really clear on this, and this is going to be a bit strange for you. This Gavin Newsom has said, are you ready for this, fellow communist people? You can only have 3 people over to your house for Thanksgiving. And if you have gatherings, even outside, you have to keep track of the names. Got it? Of people that gather around your house. Now, here's what you're going to find weird.
Well, I guess he thinks everyone is as stupid as he is. I mean, my gosh, you got to write down the names of the 2 other people at your Thanksgiving feast.
Wait a second. I actually agree with Gavin, and here's why. I want everybody out there across California to have everyone that comes to their home and their neighbors put their name on a recallgavin2020.com petition. That way we can personally send it to Gavin at the end of the day.
Well, Mike, I wanted to just quickly talk about some of the other things. And again, people, Gavin Newsom is going to destroy Thanksgiving out there in California. Must be held outdoors. Guests may use the bathroom inside as sanitized, masked while not eating, singing strongly discouraged, maximum of 2 hours. So if you haven't seen Granny or even your mom or your dad, especially over the past 9 months of this Wuhan flu, you can only expect to see them for 2 hours. You know, going to be. Mike, we got to run, but once again, give out that website. Please remind our viewers and listeners how they could help.
I absolutely will. The 2 hours is because we discovered, by the way, that the coronavirus has watches, but that's a story for another day, right? So go to, please, recallgavin2020.com, print, sign, mail, donate and participate, print, sign, mail, donate and participate. Do what you can to stop Gavin Newsom nationwide, because if you don't, that philosophy is coming to a community near you. Thank you very much for having me today.
You're welcome. Mike Netter, thanks again so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. And that's what you're watching and listening to with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. On the other side, we're going to have a returning friend of ours, Tyler O'Neill. He's a senior editor at PJ Media. He has put a list together of the 5 reasons Amy Coney Barrett, her confirmation is entirely legitimate. Don't go away. We'll give you more ammunition for your weapon right after this.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And for a rebroadcast of our show, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. And hey, check out the website of our network, aun-tv.com, aun-tv.com. We have rebroadcasts there of not just the Conservative Commandos, but many of the shows we carry on the AUN network. And Sharron, our next guest, is with us. He's a longtime friend of the show, and please welcome him back.
Well, it's always my pleasure to introduce Tyler O'Neill, who's the senior editor at PJ Media and a conservative commentator. He has written for numerous publications, including the Christian Post, National Review, the Washington Free Beacon, the Daily Signal, AEI's Values, and the Colson Center's Breakpoint. He enjoys Indian food, board games, and talking ceaselessly about politics, religion, and culture. Tyler's latest book is Making Hate Pay, The Corruption of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Tyler, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Hey, always glad to be here, Sharron and Rick.
Well, you've written a great article, 5 Reasons Amy Coney Barrett's Confirmation is Entirely Legitimate. It's amazing to me that we have to do apologetics here. For whatever Trump does, we seem to have to defend it and convince folks that it was the right move. I don't think that anybody watching those confirmation hearings, they didn't hear a whole lot of opposition to Amy Coney Barrett. But here we go. We're still having to do the apologetics. So let's start out with the 5 reasons. You've got some great ones. Let's start with 1, no inconsistency. Tell us that one.
Yeah, so I think the biggest argument that people made, and most of these are responses to the process complaints that the Democrats and those on the left have made against the way that Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed. And so a lot of people said that, because the Republican Senate didn't take up Merrick Garland in 2016. Therefore, the Republican Senate can't take up Amy Coney Barrett in 2020, which is a totally different situation. And McConnell explained it very well. He said there's no inconsistency. And there are two different things to keep in mind. In 2016, there was a Republican Senate that was elected to check the abuses of the Democratic president. And now the Republican Senate is the same party as the president. So that was a very fundamental change. And McConnell said you'd have to go back to 1888 when Grover Cleveland was in the White House to find the last time that a Senate of a different party of the president confirmed a nominee for a Supreme Court in an election year. And I think that's the key bit. A lot of people say, oh, this is inconsistent. And, in some of the statements that some of the Republicans made, it may have been inconsistent, but not when McConnell came out and gave his speech after the death of Antonin Scalia, and that was the comparison. And then, by contrast, there have been 15 Supreme Court vacancies in election years. In 7 of those cases, voters had elected an opposite party Senate to check and balance the president. And in those situations, only 2 of the 7 were confirmed, none of them since 1888. In the other 8 cases, where the same party held the Senate and the presidency, in 7 of those cases, the Senate confirmed the president's nominee. And then in the one case where that didn't happen, the Senate rejected the nominee due to a personal scandal. So there's no inconsistency here.
Okay, so let's talk about the Judiciary Committee. That's the second reason why this is legitimate. Let's do that.
Yeah, so this was a last-minute argument from the Democrats. The Judiciary Committee met and voted to push Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation to the full Senate. And Democrats, out of spite on the Judiciary Committee, decided that they were not going to attend the vote. And then they claimed, because we didn't attend the vote, it wasn't legitimate to send it out of the committee. Well, all you need on the committee is a majority rule, a majority vote to move it to the floor. So the Republicans didn't need the Democrats there to vote against it or not to vote for it. And in fact, in 2014, Pat Leahy, who was the Judiciary Committee chairman at the time, reported a judicial confirmation out of the committee, despite the fact that 2 of the members of the committee were absent. So this wasn't exactly a breaking of precedent.
Well, and who cares anyway? I had to laugh. That wasn't very good representation of their constituency to not be there, to not show up, to not challenge. If you're really the loyal opposition, you do something loyal like opposing. But we didn't see that. It was just like they tucked their tails and kind of ran away.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very interesting confirmation because I think the Democrats wanted to do one of 2 things. They either wanted to pull the Kavanaugh card and have something out of the blue that extends the debate and makes the nominee unpalatable. And of course, it failed in the Kavanaugh case, but they got quite a lot of traction out of that. Or they wanted to do what they've been doing for Trump's judicial and administration nominees, which is attack their religious faith and their convictions, which they've done over and over again, citing the Southern Poverty Law Center, about which I happen to know something. But they've been absolutely scandalous about this. And I think one of the main things, Kamala Harris has gone after people for being members of the Knights of Columbus. The Knights of Columbus is a Roman Catholic fraternal order, a charity. And guess what? Next, this upcoming weekend, the Knights of Columbus founder is going to get beatified, which is the next step towards sainthood in the Catholic Church. So the idea that the Knights of Columbus is this fringe, horrible organization that Kamala Harris presents it as is just absurd. But
Well, and that seemed to be the whole problem with this nominee for them, is they couldn't get anything on her that really gained any traction, because they really did try.
Well, and it was right before an election, and so the Democrats knew that if they showed their true colors, if Kamala Harris repeated her attacks, and if Dianne Feinstein had said the dogma lives loudly within you, that would have come back to hit them at the polls. So I think it was smart of them to avoid those attacks. I wish they'd always avoid those attacks. I think that would be the smarter way of representing their constituency. But, be that as it may, that kind of held them to the fire. And then they pushed this, ACA argument that Republicans are just trying to get Barrett on the bench to overturn Obamacare. That's blatantly false. But
well, that's not above them, though, to do blatantly false things. But, we bring into question then the timing. They said this is not good timing. What do you think?
Yeah, so they said that it was the most rushed confirmation process in history, and it wasn't. I mean, this process did move fast for modern confirmation processes, but Justice John Paul Stevens was confirmed in just 19 days after his nomination, and Sandra Day O'Connor was confirmed 33 days after her nomination, which is quite comparable to the 31 days in Barrett's case. In a lot of cases in American history, justices had been confirmed actually the very day that the president nominated them to the Senate. That was under the older system before, some rogue super legislators decided that they were going to make abortion the law of the land by writing it into the Constitution. But be that as it may, this is not a record-setting speed.
It's completely within the norm, huh? It's interesting to me, these timing things when they get to it, because already Trump has nominated someone to fill Amy Coney Barrett's seat, and nobody's even cranking about that. And I think that, he's really making hay while the sun shines. He's not going to leave one of those seats unfilled just in case. At least that looks like it to me. He's not taking anything for granted in this election. He's going to fill what he can fill as fast as he can fill it.
Well, and that's one of the greatest arguments. Trump hasn't fulfilled all of his campaign promises, but he's really fulfilled the vast majority of them. And the way that he has kind of transformed the federal judiciary in an originalist direction is astounding and extremely impressive. And really, in 2016, I didn't trust him. I thought, this guy was a Democrat until yesterday.
Me too.
I couldn't vote for him. And that was saying something, because it was him or Hillary. But I thought, well, let's try to help the third party make an impact. And I know
don't tell me you voted for Jill. Did you vote for Jill? Oh, man.
I voted for McMuffin, as I not affectionately call him now, because I thought that he was better morally. And then, 10 days after Trump won the election, McMullen was like, we have to oppose him. And even Hillary was better than that. Hillary said, let's give him a chance. So I really regret that vote now. But water under the bridge.
Yeah, well, we all get an opportunity to regret some votes sometimes. It's sad how American politics, you think you've got it all, and then, oops, you don't. And that's why I always like to wait till Election Day, because that October surprise is something that just keeps giving and giving and giving. We're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos radio show, and Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, NetTalk America, and AM/FM 24/7. You can also see us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. I'm Sharron Angle here with my co-host, Rick Trader. We've been talking with Tyler O'Neill of PJ Media about the 5 reasons why Amy Coney Barrett's appointment was legitimate. And we'll be right back to continue that conversation after these messages.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. We Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. And shout out coming to folks who listen to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AUN television network in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Wine Country, Redding, and very soon in Carson City and in Reno. Our guest this segment is Tyler O'Neill. He's a senior editor for PJ Media, and we're discussing 5 reasons Amy Barrett's confirmation is entirely legitimate. Tyler, thank you for holding through that break. And Tyler, I didn't trust Donald Trump in 2016 when you had 16 or 17 candidates running for that nomination. I got to admit, he was near the bottom of the heap for me. But once he got once he got the nomination, I said, well, we got to run with this guy. Much the same as you say, better than Hillary. Thank God I did vote for him. Thank God I did vote for him because he's turning out to be everything he said he was going to be. And I admire him for that. And the other thing is he's not a politician. He wasn't then, he isn't now. And politicians have, I really think, led this country astray. But let's talk about these reasons for Amy Coney Barrett to get the confirmation. She's now, thank God, on the Supreme Court. And you and Sharron, you talked about a few things already. No inconsistency, the Judicial Committee, timing. Let's move on to late in an election year, which kind of goes with timing.
Yeah. So a lot of Democrats, and this was the thing that was eye-popping to me, how they pushed this. They said that the Senate should not be confirming Barrett this late in an election year. And Minority Leader Chuck Schumer got up there and said that October 26th, 2020 will go down as, quote, one of the darkest days in the 231-year history of the United States Senate.
It's a little dramatic. Gee, what happened on December 7th, 1941? What happened on September 11th, 2001? Okay. This is darker, right? I don't think so.
Well, of the United States Senate. I mean, this is a body that, much as I love it, people have caned each other to death in the Senate. Like, this is not one of the darkest days. They're following procedure anyway. But be that Schumer's hyperbole aside, it is true that the Republican Senate became the first majority to confirm a Supreme Court justice this close to Election Day. However, the Senate has confirmed nominees later than this in presidential election years. In fact, many of them were confirmed after elections had already happened. And this is something that really kind of shocked me, was that even former presidents who had lost the election, they sent their nominees to the Senate, and the Senate confirmed them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, Tyler, elections have consequences. Who told us that? I think it was Barack Obama that reminded us elections have consequences. And in 2018, I really do think it was the Kavanaugh hearing that saved the Senate for the Republicans. And in doing so, if you want to play that string out, save the presidency of Donald Trump. Because I think the Democrats were so vicious in the Kavanaugh hearings, woke a lot of people up on the right, got them out to vote, and they brought back a Republican. Even though Republicans lost the House in 2018, remember that? They maintained the Senate. In fact, they picked up a seat. And I think that was thanks to Kavanaugh. And in doing so, saved the presidency of Donald Trump, because when the Republicans did impeach the president and it went to trial in the Senate, well, there was enough Republicans there that beat that sucker back. So I think that's my reasoning for thinking that it saved the presidency. But number 5 on the list, politicizing the Supreme Court. And that's a biggie. Again, in my opinion, elections have consequences. The American people spoke out. They spoke out in 2018 by preserving the Senate for the Republicans.
Yeah, well, and I think, the most difficult thing about the whole issue for me is the fact that Democrats say, and they've said this a lot recently with Amy Coney Barrett, that Republicans are trying to get a far-right justice on the court in order to force their views on the American people.
Whoa, they do that all the time. with
Right?
their far left judges, not just on the Supreme Court, but in every court. They're very good at judge shopping
Oh
to
yeah.
get their way. It's widely known now what they can achieve in the ballot box, they achieve through the courts. So that's a garbage reason right there.
Oh yeah. No, and I mean that's that's what I want to respond to is, Senator Chris Coons said that Barrett will open a new chapter of conservative judicial activism unlike anything we've seen. But the important thing to keep in mind is that it's always been the left that uses the Supreme Court and other courts to push judicial activism. I mean, well, I don't know about always, but the fact of the matter is the big movements in the past few decades, Roe v. Wade, Obergefell v. Hodges, like all these cases involved a Supreme Court pushing a judicial activist ruling on the American people on an issue that, the public was starting to move in that direction. But it's important to note, Congress would not have been able to pass a bill on same-sex marriage in 2015. Congress would not have been able to pass a bill making abortion legal in every state in 1973. The court moved ahead of Congress and the will of the people as expressed through their state legislatures and through the federal legislature. So what we need, and what Barrett is going to do, hopefully, is to overturn these ridiculous extensions of power and allow the process to work the way that it's supposed to, which involves, state legislatures passing their own laws on abortion, their own laws on marriage. And look, I mean, I've kind of moved a little bit on this. I, as a conservative Christian, believe that marriage is between one man and one woman. But I think what we need to do is we need to have a grand bargain on the issue of same-sex marriage. We need to say that to some degree it's going to be legal. But
yeah, well, that's where you and I split and go different ways. In my opinion, and I, like you, consider myself a conservative Christian, and I don't see it. In my opinion, marriage should not be a government thing. Marriage should be a religious thing, and that should be between you and your God. But Tyler O'Neill, one thing I got to ask you about before we leave, and we're short on time, so I'll have to ask for a quick question. When you talk about politicizing the Supreme Court, court packing, these guys, if Biden gets in, if they get the House, if they get the Senate, they are going to pack the court. Then I want to hear about them talking about politicizing the Supreme Court.
Right. It's terrifying because Biden has said, he wants a committee in order to restructure it. And it's like, well, what do you think a committee that Biden and the far left activists who are pushing him, is going to do? It's going to say, you expand the court. And that's...
Well, in expanding the court, and this is a question I have, I don't know if you could answer it. Maybe Sharron can help. All right, so say they do try to pack the court. And this does go in, and this trying to pack the court, that does go into the courts. Does that end up in the Supreme Court? Will the 9 judges on the Supreme Court get to rule on packing the court? Will it go that far, do you think? Or can it go that far?
I think that would be kind of perverse. Like, I would like them to do that, but, if it passes the House, the Senate, and gets signed by the president, that's why people like Ted Cruz.
Well, this is why we have a Supreme Court, because the things are passed in the House and Senate, and the president sign it. If it's not constitutional or it doesn't follow the law, that's what the Supreme Court is supposed to do: settle these cases. Another thing packing the court does, I think it destroys our balance of government, our balance of power. The 3 equal and separate branches of government, that destroys that. And after that's destroyed, where do we go from there? I know that's not a question we can answer here, but Tyler O'Neill, please tell our audience how they could follow your work.
Yeah, you can follow me on PJ Media. Follow me on Twitter, Tyler2, the number 2, O'Neill, and reach out and find my book, Making Hate Pay. One last thing, Ted Cruz has pushed legislation to make it official U.S. law that the court needs to be 9 justices. And I think we should support that kind of legislation. Unfortunately, it's not in the Constitution yet that there have to be 9 justices. That's one of the reasons why I don't think the Supreme Court would be able to strike down a law of packing the court, even though it would be an egregious abuse of power and hopefully would lead to Democrats losing at all levels of government over and over and over again.
Well, maybe, but by that time, the horse is out of the barn. It's too late, unfortunately. Tyler O'Neill, thank you so much for joining us. Always love having you on. Take care and God bless.
Yeah, God bless you too.
And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. On the other side, we're going to be speaking with David Williams. He's the president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, talking about tricks or treats for taxpayers. Don't go away. We'll be back with the good and bad news right after this break.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Drader. And once again, for a rebroadcast, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. Also, check out the website of the AUN Television Network at aun-tv.com. Find rebroadcasts of a lot of the great shows that is seen on the American Uncensored News Network. Sharron, our next guest, is with us, and as you do with all our guests, make you feel welcome.
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce David Williams, who is president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. In his 24 years in Washington, D.C., David has become an expert in finding and exposing government waste and has helped fine-tune criteria in identifying and ultimately eliminating earmarks. David has appeared on numerous television and radio and print outlets, such as ABC World News Tonight, The Jim Bohannon Show, and The New York Times. David's international expertise ranges from appearing on government waste panels in South Korea and France, and he has also advised taxpayer groups from around the world and was instrumental in helping form a taxpayer group in Great Britain. David, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thank you so much. And I've done a lot of work around the world, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of work to do here in the United States. I mean, we're talking about, trillions of dollars in deficits, even more in debt. I mean, I think it's $27 trillion in debt. So, there's a lot to do here at home. That's for sure.
Well, we want to talk about trick or treat for taxpayers. The first one is this idea that taxpayers are paying dead people. Tell us how that happens.
This is absolutely crazy because part of the relief package in the spring was to give stimulus checks, to give checks to people, $1,200. And so you think
that would be right? A heck of a stimulus check, to bring back the dead, right? Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, you're absolutely right. And what happened was the IRS sent checks to dead people. And here's the reason why. They were told that they could. Like, they weren't told not to send checks to dead people. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous. I mean, this is $1 billion. So someone actually had to tell them, no, you can't do this. You can't send checks to dead people. And this is after $1 billion already went out. Now, come on. Where is the common sense in this? Someone at the IRS should have said, maybe we shouldn't do this. So it boggles the mind that we have bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. that just don't use a little bit of common sense. We're not talking rocket science, just a little bit of common sense.
Well, it's kind of smacks of fraud a little bit when you hear that someone who is dead is getting a check. Where does that money actually go, and who's trying to scam? I mean, and it just sounds like some kind of fraud, and who's complicit with the fraud. It just kind of leaks over into everybody that, you say common sense, but I say, isn't it criminal?
No, it's absolutely criminal, because people will get these checks and it might be, a parent that's deceased, and they'll cash it themselves and use the money for themselves. So they've gotten 2 checks now, one that was intended for them and one for this deceased person, which shouldn't be getting the check. So, Yeah, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And see, this is the thing, is that the government was trying to be nice, right? The government was trying to give people, a helping hand, and they take advantage of it. And listen, this is the IRS's fault. Obviously, if you receive a check that you shouldn't receive, you shouldn't cash it. But ultimately, the responsibility is with the IRS and with the government not to do this.
Absolutely. We're hearing about another stimulus. Before we leave this stimulus idea, we're hearing about another one. They're saying now that there's $6,000 per person in the United States, and yet they're going to just send $1,200. What's the deal on that?
So they still haven't come up with a plan to do this yet. And the White House and Nancy Pelosi are going back and forth. And let's be clear that this was being done leading up to the election for political purposes, because we see the economy coming back. And I'm not saying that people still aren't struggling. They absolutely are. But when you talk about $2 trillion in another relief package, this was all about politics leading up to the election, and they're running out of time to get this done. So it's not going to happen. And I have mixed feelings about that, because obviously we don't want people to suffer. But again, have they worked out all the problems from the first round of checks? So I'm not really confident that the government was going to spend this money too efficiently.
Well, and it kind of bleeds over into the healthcare system as well, doesn't it, David? So talk about that, how this is not just to stimulate the economy. All of a sudden, it's going to affect more than just the economy, I guess.
No, you're right. And healthcare is a major issue that people are facing. And let's be honest, it started with Obamacare. I mean, we had a healthcare program come down, Obamacare, that destroyed healthcare. Doctors are leaving the profession. I mean, it really just gutted. I mean, I lost health insurance. Obama said I wasn't. He said, if you like your health plan, you can keep it. Well, guess what? I couldn't keep it. And I had to get a more expensive health plan. So that's what Obamacare did. And now we have this problem with surprise billing, is that these people get surprise bills. And what the government wants to do is get in the middle of this. Again, the government is just so fixated on getting in the middle of everything, and they mess everything up. That's the problem. Once they put their hand in this, they mess it up. And the states are doing an amazing job with surprise medical bills, is that what they do is they say, okay, the patient, you're taken care of. Your bill's taken care of. Then they go into mediation with the doctor and the insurance company, and it's working. Why can't the federal government look at this and see what's happening in New York, Texas, and Florida and say, well, maybe the government should get out of the business of being in healthcare? So it seems simple, right? But no, we always have to mess things up in the federal government.
Absolutely. And it's not just taxation. We can see that. We can see, if we look at our paycheck, we can see the taxation. We can see the billings, the secret billings, the surprise billings. We can see that. But the things we can't see that really cost us money are the regulation. Talk about that. You call it the monster on the loose, the 50-foot tech regulator.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the regulations. And, thankfully, President Trump started to address this 4 years ago or 3 years ago when he was inaugurated. And really, regulations are the silent killer of the economy, because like you said, we see the taxes, we see the spending, we don't necessarily see the regulations. The companies do. And when President Trump cut regulations, that got the economy going. Obviously the tax cuts helped, but it was all together in one package with the regulations. And now we have people talking about regulating these tech companies, really to put them out of business. I mean, what an awful time to do this, because this is how we're staying connected. This is how we're getting food delivered. This is how we're keeping ourselves entertained at night, right? Is through big tech. And I know people are just concerned that, big tech is big, monolithic. Well, guess what? I mean, this is the free market. These companies were created and are serving, hundreds of millions of Americans. And keep the government out of technology. My goodness. The government can barely count people in a census. Probably the easiest thing that they could do, and they can't do it. Why would we trust them regulating technology that they have no business being in?
Well, I'm going to challenge you a little bit because I get a little bit of pushback from places like Facebook, Google, YouTube. I'm wondering where do we draw the line, and is it government regulation to do some kind of antitrust or break up a trust thing, conglomerate, something that where do we draw the line there, David?
Well, I think they need to do a better job. Twitter needs to do a better job. Facebook needs to do a better job at this. But think about it this way, is the more government regulations that you have, Twitter and Facebook, they have a lot of money. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars. No matter what the regulation is, they'll be able to comply with it. If you're a small company and you're trying to make your way into this business, you won't be able to. So that's what I'm concerned about, is that the big guys will always be able to, pay someone to, deal with the regulations. The new startups, we have no idea if they're ever going to be able to come to fruition if the government gets involved. So, but you're right. I mean, it's frustrating because we see the Hunter Biden story being banned from Twitter. We see this, and it's really frustrating as conservatives because we want this to be a public forum. But I think the remedy is a lot worse than what they're doing. So there's a lot of culpability. Don't get me wrong on Twitter and Facebook.
David, I really think that I like you believe in free markets. I really do. But these tech giants are being protected under this 230 thing. That I don't have the right to sue, and I think I should, because I believe that right to sue is a free market, free trade situation. When I'm being harmed by a company, and this show has been harmed by Facebook, I think I should be able to go to the courts for remedy, but they're being protected, David. So the thumb on the scales of justice is on their side, and I'm not saying regulate them, but don't protect them either.
Well, and really Section 230 is supposed to invite more discussion and more conversation.
Stifling it. The way the tech giants are using it, it's stifling it, though.
Well, but I'm going to push back a little bit because, what did we have before?
Is this 2 guests in a row, Sharron, that's pushing back on us?
We like it. Don't complain, Rick. We like it. We have free opinions here on Conservative Commandos radio show. We're not going to censor. We're going to let David speak his mind.
See, friends can disagree, right? I mean,
that's right.
Friends can disagree, and I think
as long as they disagree without getting personal, absolutely.
Exactly, and before Facebook and Twitter, we really didn't have these platforms, and if it wasn't for Section 230. We wouldn't have Twitter or Facebook. We wouldn't have Yelp. We wouldn't have a lot of these platforms. So I think that it's a dangerous road to go down because we're about small government. Or do we really want to invite big government into our lives? Because I think this is a trap by the left, actually, is that they want us to take the bait on this one. So then they can creep into other areas and do the same thing and regulate other businesses. So I don't want to take the bait. I don't want to fall into this trap. So I think that, and again, I'm not just, dismissing Facebook and Twitter. They need to do a lot better job. And I think they're making a lot of mistakes in the content that they're pulling down. Absolutely.
We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos radio network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can also watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. I'm Sharron Engel here with my co-host Rick Trader, and we've been talking with our guest David Williams, who is the president of Taxpayers Protection Alliance. We've been talking about trick or treat. Trick or treat for taxpayers. National group releases their annual list of surprises for taxpayers. We'll be right back after these messages.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Broken AC, $4,600. Water heater, $1,500. Fridge on the fritz, $1,000. You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club for around $1 a day. If any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either repair or replace them.
HSC provides coverage of up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home.
I trust HSC.
HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry. They cover everything from ACs, stoves, fridges, pool pumps, and more. Call the number on your screen now for a free, no-obligation quote from a trusted HSC specialist about a home warranty for your entire home, backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get 1 month free plus $75 off your first year of coverage. 1 month free and $75 off your first year. The Home Service Club.
And welcome back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And I want to give a shout out to all those who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AAUN television network in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Wine Country, Redding, very shortly also in Carson City and in Reno. David Williams is our guest. He is the president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, and we're talking about tricks or treats for taxpayers. And David, thank you for holding through that break. We appreciate your time. See, we didn't cut you off, did we, David?
Not at all. You didn't censor me. Thank you.
We don't do that. We don't do that. David, we've been talking about the tricks. Let's talk about some of the treats now. Let's give our listeners and viewers a little bit of hope out there. What are the treats?
Well, first, let's talk about this vaccine that's being worked on for COVID-19. And this is going to be a massive treat for taxpayers, for consumers, for all citizens, because you have the private sector that is working diligently to produce a vaccine. And they've been working on this for the past 7 or 8 months, and they are spending a lot of their own money to do this. Now, here's the crazy part, is you probably have 7 or 8 companies that are going through testing, as I said, that costs a lot of money. What they do is they produce hundreds of millions of doses before it's approved, because if it gets approved, they want to be ready. So if this particular formula doesn't work, they throw away all those doses. So they're putting a lot of their own money on the line here to be ready for this. And this is going to happen in record time. We've heard the president talk about a vaccine coming out soon. And this is a real treat to think that we could have a vaccine in 7 or 8 months, since the beginning of this pandemic. And it just, again, it's, when you can cut through the red tape of government, and that's what the president did with the Food and Drug Administration. He cut through the red tape, and we're getting really close to this. And personally, I'm just very excited for the country, for science, for everything.
Well, David, what a country. You are right. What a country to think that in such a short time they've been able, or they're coming up with vaccines. But as far as the vaccines go, we got governors out there who already are saying, the governor of California, the governor of Nevada, Washington, Oregon, they're going to say, wait a minute, we don't necessarily trust a vaccine coming out of this Washington, D.C. We don't trust it. So maybe not so fast on that vaccine.
It's not Trump's vaccine, and this gets me so frustrated, is that, well, I'm not going to take Trump's vaccine. It's not his. He's not in there, doing the research and the clinical trials. I mean, these are scientists, and look where medicine has come these days.
Yep.
I mean, I'm 54 years old, so I remember the 70s and 80s, and I mean, we have medication now that is just so far beyond as to what we had. So embrace the science, and the term political science really is appropriate when people say that don't take the Trump vaccine. No, it'll be fine, and I think it's actually very irresponsible for them to say things like that.
David, you know what else I think people need to be aware of? You were talking about the development of these vaccines, and it is very costly. Research is costly. You're talking about they have to have doses of vaccine ready to go, and this is what goes into the development of medicines. I think, David, people don't understand when they say, why does medicine cost so much? Why does it cost $100 for a pill? You're not paying for that pill. You're paying for all the research and development that went into that pill. And the other 10 pills that research and development went into that were never released.
Yep.
So people have to realize that. David, let's talk about the Postal Service.
Oh my goodness.
Neither rain nor snow nor dark of night will keep us from our pointing rounds. There's a lot of talk about the post office today, but you say this is one of the treats?
It is, and it's kind of a weird treat, and I'll tell you why, is that the post office has been losing money hand over fist. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it has $160 billion in unfunded liabilities. So earlier this year, in the spring, early summer, we have a new Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy. And what he did was he came in and he said, listen, we have to change things. We have to fix things. So what he did is he looked at inefficiencies across the board at the Postal Service. He eliminated some post boxes, mailboxes, saving billions of dollars. And these were mailboxes that weren't being used. He took out some processing machines that weren't being used. So he wasn't trying to stop the mail from being delivered. He was making the post office more efficient. So he's doing this, and he's doing a much needed shakeup of the post office. So in August, the Democrats call him up to Capitol Hill, and they bring him in for a hearing. And the question they ask is, how many calls did you have with the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin? How many calls did you have with President Trump? They didn't ask him about the $8 billion the post office lost the previous year and what he was doing to fix that. They were more concerned about political posturing than they were policy and fixing the post office. And, listen, the pandemic had an effect on everybody, and the post office is no exception. But guess what? The post office was losing money when Corona was just a beer. So this has been going on for a while. And it was refreshing to see a bureaucrat, really taking the lead and trying to affect these changes. And we're hoping that this treat continues for a number of years.
David, I'm an old guy. I'm older than dirt. I was around when the first rock split into two. I still use a flip phone. So please help educate me and tell me about 5G and why this is on the treat side.
Well, 5G is the new wireless standard. It's like the new thing. And here's what it does is that
my cell phone puts out smoke signals. I want you to know that.
You still have the rotary phone?
It's a flip phone, all right?
Does
that tell you? That should tell you a lot.
So obviously, we're doing this via Skype. So internet is critical for our daily lives. And 5G wireless really is super fast internet. And it'll help people in the city, it'll help people in the rural areas get connected to a really fast broadband service. And we need the government to get out of the way of this. And we have a chairman, Ajit Pai of the Federal Communications Commission, who has done an amazing job. Battling back the left. The left does not want him to put these reforms in. They threatened his family. In 2017, when he started doing this, the left threatened his family with physical harm. This is where we are. And
when you say the left, Antifa, who on the left?
It wasn't Antifa. It was just a bunch of liberals, a bunch of progressives that just didn't like what he was doing, that he was deregulating.
Wow.
And he wasn't spending taxpayer money. And that's the beauty of this. Like 5G is the private sector is building out this network. They're not asking for any taxpayer dollars. I mean, we should be thrilled by this, that we have, companies that aren't looking for a handout, because they know they want to be, AT&T, Verizon, whomever, they want to be the first ones to deploy this, because it means they're going to get the business. I mean, isn't that what this country is all about? Build a better mousetrap, build a better wireless.
If it was up to them to make a profit out of me, they'd all go broke, because I got the cheapest cell phone plan I possibly could. David Williams, Taxpayers Protection Alliance, said, David, please tell our audience how they could find out more about the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Read your article and keep track of what you're doing.
Thank you. We're at protectingtaxpayers.org. And
I just love the sound of that, don't you, Sharron? Protectingtaxpayers.org. I love the sound of that.
And please vote. I want people to vote. I want people to be engaged. And if you don't like something, contact your member of Congress. Contact the president, because this country is about our voice and our voices together. And please make your voice heard, whether you like something that's happening or especially if you dislike it. So there's a lot we can do as individuals, but also as groups.
All right. David Williams, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the good work. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you.
And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. Avoid disappointment and future regret. Don't you go anywhere. Sharron and I will be back right after this break.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Broken AC, $4,600. Water heater, $1,500. Fridge on the fritz, $1,000. You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club for around $1 a day. If any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either repair or replace them.
HSC provides coverage of up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home.
I trust HSC.
HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry. They cover everything from ACs, stoves, fridges, pool pumps, and more. Call the number on your screen now.
Well, Sharron, that just about wraps it up for today's show. It was a lot of fun. We had some great guests. And Sharron, please tell our audience how they could keep track of what you're doing when you're not here on Conservative Commandos with George, Nasser, Melissa, or myself.
Well, it's very simple. SharronAngle.com, SharronAngle.com. I want to thank our guests. They are what makes our show. We had Mike Netter, who's the founding member of the Recall Gavin 2020.com coalition, and he gave us some reasons why they need to recall Gavin Newsom. We also had our good friend Tyler O'Neill. He's the senior editor at PJ Media and a conservative commentator, talking about an article he wrote, 5 Reasons Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation is entirely legitimate. Honestly, I don't know why we have to go through the apologetics on this, but it was good to hear from Tyler on that. And finally, we had David Williams, who is the president of Taxpayers Protection Alliance. And as you said, that's kind of an exciting name for a group. He talked to us about tricks or treats for taxpayers. National group releases their annual list of surprises for taxpayers. And there were a few. So it was fun to talk with David about those things.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But for right now, we're out of time, and oh, Sharron, how can they find out? Did you give SharronEngle.com? All right, you did. Bo. Oh, okay. Hello. Goodbye. For right now, we're out of time. We got to run and we got to go. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow on TV and on radio.